All right, and welcome to our annual Arizona Bowl interview with Eric Rhodes. This year I have John Kaiser with me, and we're going to give you all the information you need to know for the upcoming game on the 27th. It's going to be a great matchup. Fresno State, first time in the bowl game, and then returning Miami of Ohio. What a great matchup. I guess my first question would be, what was the process in getting both these teams to play each other?
Well, first, Bill, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Your guests are getting better every year. We're getting to the NFL level now. We're on Sundays. We're stepping it up,
right?
So, John, thanks for being here as well.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always a big process, right? So this year especially, you think you have your team set on maybe Thursday or Friday. Since we have a higher pick in both of our conferences, we really are in tune to the conference championship games. So I'll be really transparent. If Boise State lost, we were getting them. And if they won, then we were getting Fresno. So we had a really great option on the Mountain West side either way. The MAC was a little more interesting because, they, as you know, you probably played some of these guys way back in the day. That whole conference goes 0-3 for the first 3 weeks because they do these bye games and they play at LSU and they play at Notre Dame and they play all these big time games. And so they get bowl eligible much later in the year. Maybe week 10, all of a sudden you get 2 or 3 teams that are bowl eligible. So I'll tell you, Miami reached out to us months ago saying, we'd love to come back. Traditionally, we don't like the return just because, the bowl experience, it's more than just the game. It's the parties beforehand and it's the gifts you get. And we're always very nervous. We don't want to repeat that experience for a guy who was just here last year. So we've mixed it up a little bit, but the wrench that threw it all into it is when Iowa State and who was the other one? Kansas State, thank you, John, bowed out that morning.
Right.
That sent ripples through all of our selections because for us, being a Mountain West school, the Rate Bowl up in Phoenix lost their team. So contractually, the Mountain West is backfill for them if there's not enough teams. So all of a sudden now all of our picks were in jeopardy. What we thought, I had all these graphics created, all this stuff done, the t-shirts pretty much ready. And then we get a call of, hold on, it might be a little bit different. And so then Notre Dame happened and that just blew up the whole thing, opting out. So we got lucky because the matchup we wanted actually came to fruition. It's a great matchup. You mentioned Fresno State, the Red Wave. They lead the Mountain West in attendance, so we're really excited and hopeful that Red Wave will make its way to Tucson. We're all sitting here today, and it's the best advertisement for Tucson. It's 70s, mid-70s out there. It's supposed to be about that same, for Bowl Day. I'm gonna knock on every wood I can. But really, really pleased with the matchup. Miami's great, and it should be a pretty good football game. I can't say who yet, but there really has only been one kind of big portal guy of note on either team. So I think we're going to get pretty much, their top 11 on their top 11 should be pretty good.
That's awesome. I know Fresno State, that San Joaquin Valley, they love to travel. They love their football, and I'm sure Fresno State will have a lot of fans here. You were talking about the MAC earlier. And it's amazing, but once a year, there seems like a quality MAC team will always upset a Big 10 team, a Big 12 team. Happens every year. I mean, it's such a good football league with great players that have gone on to play in the NFL and passed all that, Hall of Famers. And getting those type of schools are really huge for us, I think, and congratulations.
Thank you. I agree. And above all people, where we love our relationship with the MAC is you get the guys in the trenches who are going to play on Sundays. If you watch the first round, even the first probably 45 picks of the NFL draft, it's a bunch of guys from the MAC who play in the line, the O-line, D-line, the trenches guys, and they're going to have a 12-year career in the league, and so people are like, the MAC's not that attractive. There's not superstar. I mean, there really are. Sure, you get your offensive weapons every now and again, your Big Bens from Miami, but it's the guys in the trenches. It's those guys. The MAC produces NFL guys across the board every year. In fact, there's a stat, I don't want to say it because I'm going to get it wrong, but how many first-round picks conference-wise, and they're up there because of all the line guys. Those trenches guys are just the best in the MAC, which actually makes for good football, which you've seen over the years because they open holes. And when you have the ability to trust your line, you can get creative, especially in bowl games where you throw a wrinkle or two in there because your whole line truly can pull because they're intelligent football players. And trick plays depends on the line. Like everyone's like, oh, look at the reverse. Like if the line's not doing their job, and I'm preaching to the choir, sorry. Like, if the line's not doing their job, that trick play is blown up before it ever starts. So
I always call the MAC the Big Ten light.
Yeah.
But you're right as far as going 0-3. They play Michigan, they play Ohio
Yeah.
State, they play Notre Dame.
But they win one of those games every year, so it's worth it.
Absolutely. So, but that's that's battle. That's just battle tested. You know, it's like you're gonna why play an easy team like Alabama's non-conference schedule or something when you can play in the
Notre
MAC.
Dame in the national championship last year, their only loss all year before going to that game was Northern Illinois at home.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So Fresno State's kind of interesting. Not so much now, but I mean just the history of Fresno State. Pat Hill, former Arizona coach, just did totally turned that program around and put it on the map, and they've taken what Pat did and just continued their success. So I'm excited to see Fresno State come in. They have a really good brand of football. Like you said, the MAC, with their linemen, they're going to pound it. They're going to ground and pound, and we'll see West Coast football versus Midwest football, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see in the MAC, I think you'll see they have a quarterback who's going to start his third career game. And a redshirt kid, but he is tough. His second career start was the MAC championship, and he took some hits, but he bounced back up. I'm like, this kid's got guts, and so they're pretty high on him. Benefit of a bowl game, and especially our game being late, is you get healthy. You've got essentially two and a half bye weeks, to get your whole team healthy. On the other side, Fresno State, you said the right word, Bill. They're a brand. Hey, there's certain football brands that even the kind of the novice football fan is aware of. Pat Hill, the Carr brothers, I mean, they really put that brand on the map, so we're excited to have them.
Yeah, they just had Jeff Tedford there the last few years, who just retired 2 years ago. I mean, they've had quality coaches after quality coach.
It's good football across the board. I mean, it's one of the reasons we like the Mountain West is you have these coaches across the board. Bronco Mendenhall's come through. There's a bunch of guys have come through. And then on the other side, I mean, Miami, it's literally called the cradle of coaches. Like, they've had guys who are Hall of Famers across the board. So, for a football nerd like me, I'm excited because it's a good matchup. And Coach Entz and Coach Martin, from Fresno State and Miami, respectively, both come from FCS, which is like just football guys, right? These guys just love the game. They love the X's and O's, and so they know each other pretty well. We're excited to see them kind of mentally go head-to-head as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about the? I've gone in the past the concerts, the tailgating, the atmosphere before the game, because and especially when the weather's 75, 80 degrees, it's a great day out there. I've really enjoyed it. So what's going on this year?
We get bigger and better every year, and it's one of the challenges that we sit in this very room, our little war room, if you will, and say, how are we going to beat that? Like, how are we going to top that? Behind you guys, you'll see the big Snoop Dogg logo, and we love having him. We have him for another couple of years, guaranteed. But the conversation in your head is like, how do you get better than that? So we're not worried about that because next week, man, John, we have some fun stuff. So Snoop Dogg is everywhere. He can't turn on the television. He's everywhere. He'll be at the Olympics. They just named him the first ever celebrity coach for the U.S. Olympic team. They just announced a couple of days ago he's doing a halftime show at the Netflix Christmas Day game with the Vikings and the Lions. So our hope is that he'll get on a plane pretty quickly, be in Tucson, which we were talking to his team a couple days ago, and you'll appreciate this. They're going to be in Minnesota, then they're going to come to Tucson. I think they're going to be pretty excited to be here and get off in that 74, 75 degrees. So we have the big gin and juice house built at the tailgate again. Snoop will make an appearance there. We're bringing him in on, I'll say it this way, a Pope-mobile kind of a look. So he'll be a little bit more out there and maybe throwing some stuff from said mobile. You'll see it. It's going to be one of those moments where you're like, okay, well, that's new. That's fun. We'll have llamas at the tailgate this year, a couple of llamas through one of our sponsors, Lit, the hydration drink. That's very, hydration drinks for all the recovery is the thing nowadays. So it's a company out of California who's a new partner of ours, and they have the Lit llamas. So you can come see a couple of llamas at the tailgate. Raising Cane's came as a big, there's going to be a ton of food. I said every year to you, Bill, drink responsibly, Uber, get there.
Yes.
But all of our money, with 100% of our net proceeds going to charity, those beer sales, all those gin and juice sales, the ticket sales, all of that's going back to charity here in Southern Arizona. So I said every year to you, drink for the kids.
That's right.
You come have a
I
good
can buy
time.
into that one.
Be responsible.
If you insist.
Right? Be responsible, but like it's the one time you can truly say, and you're part of a couple organizations that are very similar, like it's just great causes and do it responsibly, but have a great night because the money's all going to such a great cause.
Well, I like to just mingle around in the tailgate area, and I know Pearson does his his reels and stuff there, but it's so neat to see it. Probably Wyoming comes to mind just because they bring the whole damn state. Yeah. But these people have never been to Tucson, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're it's 75 degrees, and look at the mountains, because it's all flat back there, but it's an experience in itself, aside from the game.
Yeah.
And people meet people, everybody's friendly, and then you walk into Casino del Sol Stadium. Yeah, I got that right?
You did, yeah.
And and then it's go time.
Right. It is fun. I mean, we learned probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I think this is what's really helped carry us. And you've been around bowl games a lot in your career. It's got to be an experience. It's got to be an experience for your fans, for the student athletes. We got to challenge them to not want to opt out of our game, and having a person like Snoop Dogg and all the things we do around it. As far as, the jumpers that come every year, the big, it's cool. I see it every year, and I still get excited because it's cool. We'll have, a live bulldog on the sidelines. The Fresno State Bulldog. His name is Victor E. Bulldog, which if you say it fast, Victory Bulldog, because they have, the green V for victory. We'll have some more stuff that's going on with Snoop during the game, which is always fun. Like, this is one of those things, just don't miss it. You got to be there. We're going to do some fun things. He's going to be everywhere. And so if you want to see Snoop for $35, maybe a little pricier if you did some of our luxury areas, but it's, we keep the upper deck closed because we want everyone to have a great experience. And, that's still, that lower bowl is about 40,000 people, which we were at last year. And it's a great experience. It's a great feel. You don't ever feel like there's a bad seat in the house because you're down there, you're close. It's a fun environment. It's going to be a beautiful day, man. I mean, it's good football. We've had 4 of 6 decided on either an overtime or the last play of the game. So we like to really pick a matchup that is decent football as well.
So, yeah, the bowl's getting better and better every year I see, and it's really enjoyable, and Tucson's embracing it, seems like, and the team's coming in embracing it. What's the future of the bowl? I mean, where are you looking at in the future? Because I know contracts come up, conferences have changed so much, so it's hard to keep track of who's where now.
It's another, we kind of have our assigned seats, and you're sitting in Kim Adair, our executive director seats, when we sit in meetings in this room, and I don't envy that chair right now because there's a lot of difficult decisions. We're in a very fortunate spot, John, we're getting courted by a lot of bigger conferences and bigger opportunities, and we're certainly considering those. I mean, quite transparently, you both are very knowledgeable in the football game. The decision for us is going to be, do you have a much bigger payout for a much lower pick in a Power 4? So let's say if you went with the Big 12, Big 12 qualifies now 11 teams if they don't opt out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that's a big concern for us now.
That's something you got to take into consideration.
So is it more exciting to have a 9 or 10 win MAC team versus a 6-6? I'll use them because they're nowhere near that right now. Texas Tech, like in the future. So over the next 6 years, which our cycles work in 6-year cycles, is it more attractive for us to bring in that Big 12 lower team? That's 6-6. Is that more exciting, or is it more exciting for a fan base who's going to be like, let's pick another team. Is a 6-6 TCU going to travel to Tucson on December 27th?
That's a big factor.
Right? Versus a MAC team there's 2 feet of snow in Oxford, Ohio right now, to come here in 74 to have a potentially historic season at 9 or 10 wins with a couple of players that they wrap their arms around. That's kind of our scale right now is. And I would say personally, and I don't speak on behalf of our board, so this is not official news. Personally, I trend towards the group of 6 because those guys love to be here. They love the experience. Their fans are excited to be here. Fresno State, they've been excited to be. They've been all over social media about how excited they are to be in Tucson. And so someone who's been in sports my whole career and lifetime, I get more excited about people who are excited to be here. And you touched on this earlier, John. The only way we're successful as we are is our community has really embraced us. And we are so grateful for that because our bowl partners around the country aren't as lucky sometimes. We just saw the LA Bowl announce that they're going away after 40 years because LA just...
That doesn't surprise me.
It's LA, right? There's so many challenges. And even in SoFi, which is a beautiful stadium, 20,000 people, which is a decent bowl crowd, looks sparse, looks empty, it's tough. So I think we really have that challenge in our decision in the future, and it's coming quick. First of all, the number one domino is what the CFP is going to do. Yeah. The talk right now, and there's some scary talk out there from a bowl standpoint, is no group of 6 at all, and a 24-team NCAA basketball tournament style, only Power 4. And that's being pretty seriously considered from our sources, which would count out the group of 6. So one thing we're very interested in, breaking news here, and it's something we're exploring, it's certainly not anywhere concrete, is doing a group of 6 championship and doing group of 6 rankings all year and having the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl be the championship with a group of 6. Take the 2 highest ranked, CFP ranks. I'm like, North Texas would be one this year. James Madison would be another. Boise State was up there for a while. And take those 2 and that 2 highest ranked group of 6 people come to Arizona for a bowl game that doesn't necessarily have conference affiliations. So that's something we're exploring because we are in a space. There are bowl games that won't be back next year, which is really sad. Yeah. Because, I'll speak personally, like there's those people's livelihoods and they have done it for a long time.
Right.
And communities that will lose a decent bit of economic impact from their bowl game. We're not in that case. We're very fortunate. Our community is really great and embraces us, and we're excited about our future. We certainly have one, but there are certainly some question marks about what does it look like from a affiliation standpoint. All exciting options. I mean, none of it bad. We're in a great place from that standpoint of, I don't think you can really go wrong. Like if we partnered with the Big 12 or the Big 10, still great options. I mean, the Big 12 is attractive because in theory you could have ASU or U of A one year, which, even on a down year would bring 25,000, 30,000 people,
Sure.
I mean, I'm a Tucson native. I've watched you guys play, and I remember Arizona playing the Copper Bowl in the Inside.com Bowl back in the day. And it's got a little different
Throws my tail off of that game.
That was a cold. I remember watching Drew Bledsoe in Washington State here. It's a little different feel when you play in your home stadium for a bowl game. It's a little different.
Right.
It's great. I mean, it's great that your fans get to see you one more time. But I always
For the players, it's
for me
not,
personally, I think it's like a little bit of a letdown. Like
Right.
I think the players would rather go somewhere else. The team would rather. It's a bowl game. Go somewhere you haven't been before. Go play in Charlotte in the Duke's Mayo Bowl and in the Panther Stadium. Just go see something new and different. So that's a consideration for us as well. That's a very long-winded response, but there's a lot of options on the table.
No, that's great. Having worked the Holiday Bowl for 10 years, I contracted through ESPN. That used to be called the most exciting bowl game in America for obvious reasons. I mean, the first bowl game, Phil McCullough with the from Navy with the last-second touchdown over BYU. There was a national championship in the Holiday Bowl when BYU played.
They'll tell you.
And being a native San Diegan, they really embraced that bowl. And I think that I don't know if you used their model or anything like that when you guys were first, second, third year, but I believe, at least in my opinion, that you guys have replaced them as the most exciting bowl. As you mentioned, a couple overtime wins, last possession wins. I mean, you can't get better than that.
And we're really intentional about that. You asked off the top what our process is. That's a big part of it. We watch a lot of football. I mean, poor me. What a job to have, right? Boise was on the table for us a lot this year. So I went out to Air Force and I went to Colorado Springs and watched them play Air Force out there just because it's good to know. We visit our conference partners. We go to their games. But we really are intentional about our matchup. So we have the number 2 pick in the Mountain West. Fresno State technically was 5th. Because there was a log jam at 9-3, and so we were really intentional about what's going to be hopefully a good football game, because you don't want, last year we had a bit of a blowout for us.
Right.
Miami had control of that game. Colorado State came out and played their worst game of the season, quite frankly, and so blowouts are not what we want, because unfortunately we have some people you want to stick around and see at halftime, but we want a good football game. We want you to stick around. Tucson, one of the things I love about my hometown, we're a pretty smart sports town. People love good games. You'll get behind Pima if they're playing well. You'll get, people follow it like you're making a living. Those brothers out there who cover a lot of high school sports in town. People pay attention and lock in. I mean, that's why you are still in this town. You've been all over the pros and could have lived in a couple of different places, but your family has chosen Tucson. It's a sports-centric and sports-intelligent town. So if you play cruddy games every year, that's going to hurt you.
Talking about Tucson, when you guys looking at teams, do you look for Tucson ties?
We do. So, I mean, like Fresno State this year, not only Tucson, but, I mean, it's Fresno State. We're going to have, if you have your head on a swivel, you're going to see some people at our game this year. Kurt Warner's son is the Fresno State quarterback. So Kurt will be, so I just learned this a couple of days ago. Apparently Kurt does not like to be seen and or heard during this game. He likes to go find a corner of the stadium, go very incognito and like lock into watching his kid. He's not allowed on the sidelines because his son doesn't want him. So like it might be kind of a fun Where's Waldo thing, find Kurt Warner. Because he kind of tucks himself from what we've heard. Like he'll be in around. Steve Mariucci's son is on staff. So we've heard Mooch is coming. And then the Arizona tie, George Maolulu's son is on the team.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a receiver for them. So George will be back. Everyone remembers number 12. It was kind of the beginning of what I call it in my memory of that Polynesian pipeline that really Arizona has just embraced since then. But yeah, so absolutely, we certainly have some ties. And then the biggest on the field one is Rayshon Speedy Luke, who was Arizona for a couple of years and had some big plays for us here. Will be back. He's all Mountain West this year. And he's actually, better tie for us, a product of the Snoop Youth Football League. Yeah. So he came through Snoop's program, so there's a really great tie-in for us there.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, so to speak, because
you always do. What do you mean you don't want to? That's why I'm sitting here.
That's right. The reassemblance, I guess, would be of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I spoke with you, off the record or off, the camera several times, and I know that's something that's kind of on your wish list. I was talking to John before we went on camera, and his point was valid. It's like, well, it's like Mountain West versus the Mountain West, basically. Yeah. Is that kind of a downer? Because other than the Oregon State and the Washington State, you've got 10 new teams.
Yeah, I mean it's a great question, and it's not on spot. It's the valid question. It's the question to ask. And so we are absolutely talking to the Pac-12, and we're absolutely looking at them as an option. One, for if that domino falls and we work specifically within the group of 6, they're going to be a big part of that. So we are absolutely chatting with them. And certainly, we've made relationships with all the schools that weren't in the Mountain West that will be in the Pac-12, and so we've made some great relations. Boise, Colorado State, some of that, Utah State, we've made good relationships there. Certainly, in the Mountain West, we're still really great partners with. So, I think what you'll start to see over the next year or two in these new negotiations is not necessarily just 2 conferences tie-in. One of the other options we're looking at is multiple conferences. So we kind of have a pool that we work with. Let's just say Conference USA, Mountain West, Pac-12, Sun Belt. And we get, we work with, again, I think you'll see bowls start to tier. And so you'll have your CFP and still I call them, I still call them the New Year's Six. Your Cotton Bowls, your granddaddies up there who've been, my dad used to eat pizza and just watch football all day on New Year's. You'll have those bowls, and then you'll have kind of 1A, which we're fortunate to kind of be in there right now, your holiday bowls, the Arizona Bowl, the other ones out there, New Mexico Bowl, which has been around 20 plus years now. That kind of tier, and I think that tier is where you'll start to see some sharing of these teams of going, okay, especially with regionality now. I think regionality is going to be a big thing, especially involving the Pac-12 to bring that all back together is, schools are spending a ton of money.
So there's not really any at-large, so to speak. Remember the at-large bids and stuff, and I think you guys even did that the first couple years.
I mean, we have to. I think that's a thing of the past. I think it's really, we all talk to each other. The bowl world, we're a small but mighty group. We're a very niche job, if you will. And so, Kim is on the phone consistently with the other executive directors and, myself and my colleagues where we go to these games a lot and just kind of, the New Mexico Bowl was really interesting this year because New Mexico was very much on our radar. Easy drive from Albuquerque. hadn't been to a bowl game in 10 years. I learned something new I didn't know, and I love sports stats like this. New Mexico has been to 4 bowl games since 2005. All 4 of them were at home. They haven't been outside of the New Mexico Bowl since 2002. Like,
Just not the same experience.
it's just different, right? I mean, and so certainly if you're the New Mexico Bowl and Jeff Symbieta, their executive director, great guy, you want the crowd because it's a home team, but the home team doesn't want to play there. So that's kind of what came to fruition, and we're good friends with our Fiesta Bowl friends. So the Rate Bowl up in Chase Field selected New Mexico. We all kind of had this talk. That works out well for us because we actually have already seen sports nerds like me who will go to back-to-back days. They're going to go the day before to Phoenix and watch New Mexico play. And then on their drive back to Albuquerque the next day, they're going to come here. Stop, watch a great football game, have a good time here, see Snoop Dogg, and then make their way back to Albuquerque, and take a break in the middle.
A couple of questions that I want to see how you guys feel about this. You guys didn't really have a hangover after the COVID mess, where you had the team, Washington State ended up going to the Sun Bowl and Boise couldn't come. And a lot of bowl games after that couldn't recover.
Yeah.
You guys did. What was your secret on that?
It was tough. I'll be very, very candid. It was tough. I mean, we had to furlough some people, and it was a hard year. I mean, we lost. That was Barstool Sports in the day when we were there. I mean, we lost literal millions that just went out the door because Boise canceled 2 days beforehand. So, I mean, you remember Central Michigan was already
hotel,
here.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like we couldn't pay for that. We still had to pay all the hotels who lost, that whole week of bookings. And we didn't just get to go, oh, sorry, never mind. We're not.
Right.
We still had to pay as if we had a bowl game, but we lost all the revenue of ticket sales, sponsorships. We lost all the tailgates, as John mentioned. All that revenue we depend on just went from pretty good number to 0. So it took us, I would say, last year was really the first year we felt like we were level again.
Back in it.
And this year was the first year I felt like we had foot on the gas instead of recovering. Okay. And we were able to, again, knock on wood, as we never know where the world is going to go, put that in our rear view a little bit. In fact, as we talk about matchups, we were really close to having that game again. Central Michigan was in the mix, Boise was in the mix, and we were very close to trying to do that rematch in our last year of these relationships to get that game that didn't happen. And I had such good social media stuff for that, man. The game that was meant to be played,
Yeah, you were not a happy camper at the hotel. I remember seeing that.
I was worried for my job.
Right.
I was one of the ones who got furloughed. So I mean, it's people talk about football just being football and teams opting out, having nothing to do, and I can tell you firsthand, Boise State opting out of that game cost me my job. I was out of a job for 3 or 4 months because we're nonprofit. There's 5 of us here.
Right.
There's people don't realize that, I think, in Tucson, that realize there's only 5 of us full time who do this every year. In fact, I get the question all the time of, what do you do all year? you have 1 game a year, and I tell people, you ever been around anybody who's planned a wedding?
Yes.
I know you have. Takes a year and a half or so. One of my colleagues, Dell, his daughter's getting married in 2027, and they've already visited all these venues. And I said, it's really a couple hundred people maybe, and for a bigger wedding. We put on a wedding every year for 40,000 people with one of the largest entertainers in the world. So we're a little busy.
People don't realize all the backroom work that you do, Kim, especially. Yeah. I mean, and I've even told somebody, people on a much smaller scale, my show, it's I just don't sit down and start talking. I have to research. I have to do this and that. I have to make relationships, and it's blown out of the water on your big scale. But the second part of that question is, it's almost normal now for players to opt out and now teams to opt out. Do you think that's going to continue, or do you think the NCAA will? Because everybody's mad at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think the NCAA will put a clause in or something like that saying, if you get chosen for a bowl game and you don't go, there's a fine? Or
so I'll answer that in 2 parts. Players, I don't think there will be a penalty.
Right.
I don't think it would take years for that legislation to get across. Teams, I do. In fact, as soon as Notre Dame did their thing behind closed doors, all of us who work in this industry, 2 things have come forward. If that 24-team tournament comes to fruition, and there's 24 Power 4 teams who make that tournament, the Big 12 is the leader of this, saying, if we're not in the CFP, we're not going to a bowl. So if you're not one of those 24, no postseason. That's your season's over. Very similar to NCAA basketball.
Right.
So like it's just you make the CFP or you don't, which I think as an Arizona fan, I hate that. Like I'm excited to, we were talking before this, my daughter and I are going to the Holiday Bowl. We're excited to go to that experience and have it like, when Arizona won the Alamo Bowl, what a great, our town we celebrated that for months. So I hate that option. Option B, that I think has some legs, and this again, my personal thing, this is out there, is that the penalty for opting out as a team will be you're not eligible for a postseason the next year. So say Notre Dame, K-State, and Iowa State would not, even if you're a CFP team, even if you're ranked number 4 in the country, if you opt out, you are not eligible the next year. So it's a 2-year decision because conferences lose money, schools lose money, student athletes lose money, which I think is going to be the driving force. You know this world in the NIL and.
Well, I feel bad for those. I feel bad for those seniors. It's like they'll never play again. Most of these guys will never make the next
your
level.
bowl games?
Well, probation a couple times, but besides that.
Fine.
But seriously, these kids, it's their senior year, and the teams aren't going to a bowl, and these guys will never play football again.
Yes.
I mean, what a shame for these kids losing that last great experience. Like I'm not going to go to the Arizona Bowl because we don't feel like it. Well, what a bad experience for those kids.
Yeah, I mean, you know this better than anybody. The percentage of guys who play on Sundays is what, like 2% or something like that?
Less than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's still under. It's like, yeah. And so, I mean, and that's of all 360 FBS teams, right? Like there's 105, 110 guys on a roster. 4 of them have a chance to play on Sundays. The other 100, this is it. One last ride. Like you will remember this forever. Like I cried like a baby my last college game, like because it's what had defined me my whole life. You worked, to get to go to a good high school. You worked to your club team. You worked to get a college scholarship. You played college, and all of a sudden, in one blow of the whistle, I always tell people sports are a very unique animal. Like at one point you played your last game. I don't know if you knew it was. Like I knew it was my last game. Like it's really hard to literally have a countdown and a literal clock on your life. And it's been your whole life to that point. Like you've been a student athlete or you're an athlete. You were structured, you did it all, and all of a sudden you can watch a clock go down and then hit 0. And when it does, you're a different person. Like no practice tomorrow, no scheduled weight room, no scheduled nutrition. It's all of a sudden it's like.
You look at your cleats, you're like,
yeah,
I'm not putting these on again.
You get home and there's no like I've got lifting at 6 a.m. or I've got like you'll see a lot of athletes blowing up after they're done because they don't know what to do because they don't have that regimented life.
That's why school's so important.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man and I don't want to keep you any longer than we have to, but just real briefly, ticket sales so far, how are they going?
We're about on par. I would say we're a little bit behind last year. That doesn't surprise me, though, because it's not Snoop's first year.
Right.
And Tucson's a very late coming town. Yeah. We all know that.
A lot of walk-ups.
We all sit in the stands going, this game starts in 2 minutes, right? You'll see, and then, midway through the first quarter, you're like, oh, there's everybody. Everybody's, in the concessions lines, which is fine with us, because go get some more beverages.
Sure.
You take your time. So it's a little late coming. I would say right now we're trending towards that kind of between 30 and 35,000, which is phenomenal for a bowl game. That'll be
most definitely.
That'll be still tops in the group of 6 that that non-New Year's 6 will be good. But listen, like I said earlier, if you're on the fence, come on at the game. Stay for an hour, stay for 2 hours, have a beautiful time, get a beverage or 2. By then, you're going to be tired of your family who's been here all week. Send them to the game.
Exactly. Here's your Christmas present. Beat it.
But, like I said, every ticket matters to us because that's money that goes back to our charities. This year, we gave to 25 different 501c3s here in Southern Arizona. So if you're on the fence, come on out. Have a great time. Get to see someone new. You'll see some celebrities around there. The great thing about Snoop Dogg is he brings friends.
Yes.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
What's the before the tailgate? Is there any specific event that's happening to before the tailgate or to kick off this whole thing?
Yeah, so with the holiday, we're a little condensed this year, but the 26th, that Friday, we'll do our pep rally, kind of over, downtown here in that kind of mural lot area. We'll have a battle of the bands. The mascots will be there. Tom Brenneman's going to be the MC. So Nick Castellanos might hit a home run in the middle of his speech. a little sports nerd trivia there.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, we'll kick it off that night. There'll be a pub crawl kind of downtown and area to get everyone excited. And then our tailgate starts at 10 a.m. So come on out. There'll be lots of gin and juice, lots of beverages, tons of food, some great merch this year. We didn't do it last year, but this year we're selling all the Death Row records and gin and juice stuff. So it's some pretty good swag. You've been known to like some swag every now and again.
I
Bill.
still have the original. I still have the original backpack. So no, that's great. And as we've said before, if you've watched our interviews in other Arizona Bowls, this is only behind the gem show as far as community response, economic impact. So, a lot of you guys have out-of-towners, friends, family in for the holidays. There's nothing better on a Christmas stocking stuffer than a couple of Arizona Bowl tickets. I know I've given away several ones. It's like, here, let's stick that right in there and stuff. So, but it's a no-lose situation. It really is. I mean, I've been to 520 Sports Talk has been to every single one of them, and they only keep getting better. And like you said, it's like, how are we going to top this? I mean, I thought that New Mexico State, that's still one of my favorite Arizona Bowls.
That was a good one.
That New Mexico State game with Roy Lopez. Yeah, he was on there. And then, Jordan Love's been to the game for Utah State.
Arizona Bowl alumni, yeah.
So, it's a win-win situation for not only Tucson. We did a lot of Cochise County football this year. I want to see my friends from Cochise County, Sierra Vista, Tombstone, Bisbee, Douglas, Benson, Wilcox, get all those guys out there. Come on in. And also Santa Cruz County. We know you love their football down there with the Nogales Apaches. So definitely take heed in that. And even our friends up in Pinal County, we want you there as well. So any final thoughts there?
No, thanks for having me. It's exciting. I forgot you've done them all. I think I gave you your first big media break because now you get credentialed for real sports.
I had to beg, but now I'm going to Final Fours.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, always great friends.
I had a chance to go to CFP last year, but I couldn't swing it.
Yeah, no, it'll be a fun week. We're looking forward to it. Love to have everyone out always, and we're happy to be here and happy to be around. And we'll see you on the 27th.
Sounds good. Anything else, John?
No, I just appreciate it. Yeah, make sure you get out there. It's a great event, great time. The tailgating, the game, the people. It's just a great day for Tucson. Good luck this year and enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, thank you. That's going to wrap it up for us here from the office of the Arizona Bowl. 520 Sports Talk. It's a wrap.